Okay, so welcome back to the ladies' room. I'm here with the amazing Dr. Teresa again to answer all of your burning questions. So today, Teresa, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that bulge that women get after pregnancy. And the best way that I can describe it is one lady came to me after class at booty camp one night, and she said to me that when she comes out of the shower, and as we all do when we come out of the shower, we're in our towel and we sit on the end of our bed, you know, getting ready, popping on our clothes, whatever. She said that when she opens her towel and she looks down, it's almost like she has like this alien belly, like it's like there's something like still in there, and she's like, it's lumpy and it's going this way and this way, and she said to me that it looks awful to look at, and she feels really, really bad about it because it just doesn't look like a normal belly. So what is all that about?
Well, the scientific name for that, this separation, which I'll describe in a minute, is called diastasis recti. But alien belly works better for me because it really does look like that. And it isn't an alien, it's you. It's your guts moving around through what has turned into, instead of a sheet of canvas and a muscle layer, it's like the thinnest nylon. It's turned into this sheer, movable, you can move it all around. It's barely a covering. So it doesn't just look vulnerable, it feels very vulnerable, because when we see that exposed area, it feels really weird and, again, gushy, like your insides are going to come out. Okay, first of all, what is this? So during pregnancy, so we'll be talking a lot about like what changes happens to your body during pregnancy. So this is partly that you stretched out. Okay, so your guts don't stretch out. There's an organ in your body, your uterus, the baby grows in that. It's down in your pelvis, sitting, you know, way down, tucked behind the bones, in the bony pelvis. And then as the baby starts to grow, it's sort of like, it's the size of a pear and it's all flipped over like this. So the vagina goes up like this, and then the uterus sits on top, except for sometimes it's backwards. That's called a retrograde uterus. But most of the time it's like this. Okay. And so we all know, like, when you put your tampon in, you know, you have to go back, because that's this angle, and then the uterus is here. During pregnancy, as this grows, it becomes an abdominal organ, and then it starts to swell up until it's, you know, pretty big, like a watermelon size, and stretching out the front. So women feel that, and at the same time, their boobs are getting all the machinery ready for making milk. And this is because I'm a big breast feeding and breast milk advocate. This is where I get my little point in, is that for anyone who thinks that breastfeeding makes your boobs sag, it isn't. It's just pregnancy. Yeah. But nobody, you know, one always follows the other. So what happens is this rapid growth, and not just rapid growth. Oh, we need to do that bra question. We'll do that later.
Yes.
Okay, so the stretching of your boobs, they stretch and don't come back, but they don't turn transparent. Okay? And they sometimes they sometimes lose the fat that helped go towards building baby brain and things, because those are actually stored there in preparation for feeding the baby. So again, don't ever think that that's a reason not to breastfeed, because the damage was already done, and what you need is proper support and proper nutrition so that you have a built-in bra. That's what's causing the sagging, not the baby. And the bigger boobs is from pregnancy, in the face of hormones that cause everything to relax. So you've never had a baby, and I have, and obviously a lot of the people that are taking Flat Tummy Mummy, they've had a baby, and they've experienced this really unpleasant sensation of a hormone called relaxin and another called progestin, which makes all the ligaments soft and loose. So you turn over in bed at night and it feels like your arms and legs aren't attached to you. Betty Spaghetti, exactly. So this canvas here that covers up, it actually starts to expand and relax. And as the uterus starts to stretch the abdominal wall, which is muscular and skin and fascia, that canvas, as it starts to stretch that out of the way, then this thins out. And the muscles that are on either side, the six-pack, get separated. So it's like if you had a six-pack, it's like you cut down in the middle and you have your three-packs. You know, there's just this separation here, where there's just fascia and it's all very thinned out. The worst thing that women do is they bulge. So when they bend or when they push down, it bulges out more, and they do crunches, which is the exact wrong thing. And this really helps me to get to an explanation, and I hope that everybody understands this. We really have this concept of the corset and the coat, that you have one corset and as many coats as you want. So when your corset is in place, and when your pelvic floor is working, when everything fires in one piece and your corset's in place, you can wear any coat you want. If you don't wear a corset and everything's bulging, some women's solution is to wear a tight coat to hide their fat. So they pull in the coat. This separation, this alien belly, is really a coat that has had the buttons popped off of it. Okay? Now, if you only have one coat, and the distressing feeling of after you have a baby, your coat doesn't fit anymore, even though the baby was born, you still can't pull it back together again. All this is so upsetting, but you must both put a corset on, and that won't be enough. You have to repair the coat. So we focus a lot of these exercises on absolutely not stressing this area. And again, what's going to really count is really good nutrition. So you don't want the aliens to be crawling out because they're big and swelled on the inside. So you want any toxins or stresses or the grain, like all these things we talk about in their diet that can cause inflammation, that swell your guts, that bloat you and push you out. Those are going to stretch you from the inside and also inflame that tissue wall so it doesn't want to get stronger. And then we're going to have to include things in our diet. This is where these gelatin or the bone broth or things come in, of eating the proper proteins that can give you the building blocks you need to repair this. It's a patch, basically. And we don't want a patch that's just band-aided on in the lightest place. We want a graft. We want it patched in so that the patch is as strong as anything that's around it. And then that patch becomes part of the corset, and you come in, and the muscles come in, and then your six-pack comes together so that you're back in your old coat again. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, Teresa, aside from, working on the corset and then working on the coat afterwards, nutrition is obviously super important after you have a baby, and trying to get all of those building blocks in place to get the muscles to work the way they should again, and for everything to come back together. So that is a really, really big part of Flat Tummy Mummy that we have to stress as well, that nutrition is
so
huge.
Key. I do a lot of workshops and stuff. I'm so super into this. Women are so awesome because we can build a baby brain from scratch, but we do need the ingredients. So the ingredients from a brain, nature has done a really interesting thing that most women don't understand, is they say, I'm eating for two, and they're never eating for two. You're never eating for two, you're always eating for you, because the baby doesn't eat from your plate like what you're eating tonight for dinner. Your baby eats from your pantry, what you've eaten over all this time, stored in your body, and then hormones break that down, because it's sort of like it's been tested. By your body tested it and said, okay, this is safe, and we're going to put it in the pantry, and then it's all right for the baby to lose. It doesn't baby to use. It isn't safe to go from your mouth to the baby for a lot of things. So even muscle tissue, you build up your muscles and then you break down your muscles, and those amino acids go to the baby they're not from the steak, they're literally from your own body. And a brain, being a totally amazing thing, and we have the biggest one of any animals, is if you're not getting these brain-building fats like the DHA and EPA, which they're put all over like the cereal boxes and things, but that's the cheapest, can't use it, it's for plants, it's not for humans, is that the baby's going to be getting this from your brain, and the baby's going to be getting it from your body. So a huge obstacle to moms in getting their flat tummy and getting well is their pantry got raided by their baby, and they're not restocking.
And you say that a lot of ladies, after they have a baby, have baby brain.
Yes.
And
my God, yes. 8% of their brain is lost because this is, I'm sorry, I get so passionate about it, but it's super cool. So, when we get 13, 14 years old and have our period, and our body all changes. We change from this into this. Well, the fat for humans is it's all stored right around where the baby is going to need it. And the saturated fat, which we want to get rid of, like our saddlebags, we don't want to get rid of our boobs, but our bum, all of this fat, these curves, it's a sandwich fat. So in the sandwich you have like expensive prosciutto, okay? And you're keeping it protected from air. So this is the DHA, the brain building fat, because it's kind of rare, you know, when you get the good salmon or whatever that would have these. And Ireland's great. I mean, I actually came to Ireland to start with because the natural food in Ireland is the brainiest food in the world.
I know, and I tell people this. I said, you know, the ladies that I work with, I say, you know, really, we are so lucky to live where we are. We have amazing livestock and pasture.
And it's an island, so there's even things like the seaweed and the fish.
And we don't even eat that much
No,
fish.
and the seaweed, it washes up on and nourishes the soil, and the animals eat it. I went down to Cork and they're like, oh, the pigs eat we put the seaweed out on the soil and the pigs eat it for 3 days, which is then it goes, and they're then storing this and we can use it. Ireland has the most amazing brain building food, which is why during the famine when there was no food, the women that were like skeletons still had enough brain building, their prosciutto all stored on their body and protected. When they didn't have the saturated fat protecting it, they still had the prosciutto left from eating all this amazing food, so they stayed fertile, which is really a big tragedy, and a big part of infertility is not having those fertility fat. So your body is going to do the survey. Do you have enough there to build a baby brain? Is your pantry stocked well enough? And it'll make you hungry and those things. But the focus again is we have saturated fat, and we don't want too much saturated fat, but we want enough that stores that brain building fat. Well, now people are putting on, they're like, why am I getting this muffin top? And I'm like, because you don't have any brain building fats. You know, you're just toxic, and toxic fat won't go anywhere because it doesn't want to get broken down. But the saddlebags fat also doesn't want to go anywhere. It's hormonally protected. Nature said, hey, there's gold in there. So it hormonally. So I'm sure you have this is like, they're like, I just want this to go away, or I just want this to go away, and they literally they'll liposuction away the best stuff, nature's gold. And when they could streamline it away by letting their body know they're really well nourished and they don't need so much fat to protect their fat stores, and by doing the things we do each week to get your hormones to help you instead of to harm you or to turn you into a hoarder. That's really what it is. So hoarders hold on to everything because they're totally panicked. That, you know, so they're holding on to old pizza boxes, but definitely to clothes. So your body becomes a hoarder because it literally doesn't know when, you know, what might need it in the future, even though it's complete rubbish. So changing your eating habits after you've had a baby is so key to getting this back, because you can let go of the fat because you restocked your pantry. And the baby brain is where we get back to this really good food. Is if you don't have this baby brain fat stored in your thighs and your butt and around your abdomen, and this is why breast milk, I call it brain juice, because humans are the only animals to have rapid brain growth for no other animals even grow their brain really after birth, and our babies' brains grow more, that they're less than half the size they are when they're born. And what are you building that brain with? Well, those special fats make you have big boobs because they put it right where you need it, so that it's being secreted in the milk, and what you eat replaces the calories and the fat, but you can save this gold for your baby. If you don't have this, and even if you do have it, we know that when we do an MRI of a woman, that they literally digest part of their brain and then they recover it by 6 months after, but they're like, I've lost my mind, I have mommy brain. But they actually lost part of their brain, and I think we don't really know why. I have two theories, but one of them is we also know baby cells start circulating around in maternal circulation. So any mother will tell you they have this feeling with their baby. So literally, your baby is a part of you.
Yeah.
So a man can be a parent, but he learns to be a parent. Like, we have no choice because it's
instinct.
literally grafted and grown into our brain in that place where part was removed and something else, that your baby is literally part of you, and they never cannot be part of you.
That's awesome.
And the 6-month recovery is you're primed to recover your brain. And if you don't have good brain building fats, your body will use substitutes. And so you won't have brain damage, but you won't have the best brain that you can, and you won't be replenishing your body or preparing your body in the best way you can for your child when they're building it. So it's just like building a bad house. You can knock it down and do it over again, but who wants to bother, especially after they've decorated? So the whole point is, if we start from scratch and we put these good nutrients in, we get good quality from the very beginning.
Awesome. Thank you, Therese. I think that was a great answer, and you know, you can get a lot from that, and that was really, really good. Brilliant. Excellent.
Okay, we'll be back at another ladies' room, but goodbye for today.
Amazing. Thank you.